It's a cloud that will, within, in most cases, 150 meters of impact will disperse, and it will burn every human being or animal.
Some footage has shown violations inside mosques, black crosses painted on the walls and on the Quran. Do you know anything about this?
I don't doubt that American soldiers who are frustrated after being involved in combat for a year would have any problems with doing any kind of vandalism. I mean, it's very common. Indiscriminate vandalism was, I mean, there was carvings in the walls at Babylon, an ancient, structure, a historical monument. It was common for soldiers to carve, "Hello, Mom, I'm from Texas" on these walls. I just think there's a certain lack of respect within the American military ranks, especially when dealing with soldiers who are frustrated. I personally did not witness any mosque vandalism. Our brigade was good about keeping that very controlled, but I did hear stories, places such as Samarra, Baghdad, Mosul, mosques being attacked, mosques being vandalized, the Quran being damaged. I think it's very common.
Is it true that you waited for the results of elections, confirmation of victory for Bush, before bombing Fallujah?
I'm glad you brought this question up. That was definitely the case. That was even in the ranks, in the military ranks, we knew what was going on. They told us that we were going to wait after the election, the American election, before going into Fallujah. And we had already set up the whole operation, like it was ready to go, and we were waiting for 2 or 3 days for this election to be over with. And then when the election was so close between Kerry and Bush, it was almost pissing off a lot of the high command, because they wanted to hurry up and get in there and get it going. And they didn't want what happened in 2000 with Gore and Bush, the long drawn-out process that lasted almost a week to find out who won. When Kerry conceded, though, it was like within a matter of a day, it was happening, and that was definitely the case. We waited till after the election. We were told directly from the Pentagon to wait until after the election before going into Fallujah, and that's exactly what we did.
Alice Mahon was a Labour parliamentarian from 1987 until a few months ago, until she decided to walk out on Westminster. Mrs Mahon had, since 2003, put forward several parliamentary inquiries demanding information from the Defence Ministry as to whether the United States had used chemical weapons. And the Ministry, after several attempts to deny any knowledge, wrote back on the 13th of June 2005 with the following: "I regret to tell you that I am sincerely sorry that this is not the truth, and that now we must correct it. The USA destroyed their arsenal of napalm used in Vietnam in 2001, but emerging from military reports from Marines in service in 2003, it shows that Mk-77 was used. The incendiary bomb Mk-77 does not have the same composition as napalm, but it has the same destructive effect. The Pentagon has informed us that these devices are not generally used in areas where civilians are present."
I didn't lose my seat. I deliberately stood down because I didn't want to be part of a government that was conducting an illegal and bloody war against people who'd done us no harm whatsoever. Well, I heard from the American military at the beginning of the war, at the beginning of the bombardment of Iraq, there was an admission by the American military that they'd used a substance similar to napalm when they first went into Iraq. I put the question down, and as you can see, the reply was no, they hadn't, or they were not. My government were not aware of it. Now, I'm afraid some of us do not believe everything we're told at the moment, and so I did pursue it, even when I stood down from Parliament. And months later, we did get an admission from the Ministry of Defence, from the Minister himself, that a similar substance to napalm had been used in the bombardment of Iraq.
A UN convention signed by the US had banned napalm. Is Mk-77 very different?
No, it isn't. It has exactly the same effect when it is fired at people. It burns them, it destroys things, it melts bodies. It's exactly the same effect. And what Well, of course, what is in a name if it does this to people? I think the Americans are wrong to use it. I think my government are wrong to help in the cover-up of it being used. But of course, in this war, we've seen the United Nations Charter broken and defied over and over again.
Why didn't the United States ever sign the convention abolishing these weapons?
Well, the United States, of course, do that. They go around lecturing the rest of the world on their rights and responsibilities and have taken note of what the UN said. Of course, they had a lot to say to the Iraqi government about obeying United Nations resolutions. They themselves think they are above it.
This war started with the intention to look for weapons of mass destruction. Is it not paradoxical that chemical weapons were in the end used by the United States?
Absolutely. The hypocrisy is absolutely stinking. There were no weapons of mass destruction. This was a broken-back dictator who was a threat to no one. And in my view, the Americans wanted to control the oil in the region. But I'm afraid there is no hiding place from America and Britain in this war. The facts will come out, and Bush and my Prime Minister will be exposed.
Roger. Range auto. Alright, got auto range on it. Roger. Yeah, Roger. Engaging. Got him. Good. Second one. Hit the other one. Hit the truck. Go to the right, see if anyone's moved by the truck. Take the trucks out. Is there anybody in the truck? Wait for movement. Not seeing any. Go ahead and store that. Auto range store. There's another guy underneath. Move right there. Good. Fire. Hit him. Target 4. We're taking the other truck out. Roger. Wait to move by the truck. Movement right there. Roger. He's wounded. Hit him. In the truck. Hit the truck in him. Go forward of it and hit him. Roger.